Hello, and welcome back. It's tutorial number 4 already. And after last time's confusion with the read connection, I thought to myself, why not take on another challenge in my life? Why not torture myself again? So I decided, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Life is about overcoming challenges after all, isn't it? And so today we're gonna go back to the read and back to the tube. So we will have a closed open tube. And instead of using a 2-mass, you can also try it out with a monomass, which is to describe the harmonic oscillator. It works pretty much the same. I thought today we're gonna try the rectangular plate as a read. And we're gonna also make a hole, because most tube instruments have holes that you can cover with your fingers and play. Okay, so let's get right to that. Let's make a new buffer here. And let's start with the header. So as always, we need new, and sometimes we need the in package mlis. And we're gonna make the read. And although it's a rectangular plate, I'm gonna go to the read reference because it needs some special parameters. So I'm gonna set q my read, make the object rect plate, and modes will be only 5. Oops, 5. The length 0 will be 0.7 e minus 2. The length 1 is going to be 2 e minus 2. The thickness is 2 e minus 5. So all very small, right? In millimeters. The density is very low, so that's pretty much parameters or property you would find on something wooden. The frequency loss is 400, and the constant loss should be 200. That's what they write here. There we go. Okay. Next, let's make our closed open tube. Here it is. We are gonna start again with completely default values. Set my tube, make object closed open tube, modes. Let's put 100 modes. Shouldn't be that. Okay, and air elasticity dot 0.0000721 at air density 1.2. Oops. At the radius 0 is 0.01. The radius 1 is 0.01. So same radius. And now frequency loss is step 1. And the const loss is still 1. Oops. Close it up. Maybe you already set the pitch. Set pitch. My tube length. And let's put it to 70. Why not? Okay, so we make tube there. So we have made our basic objects, and we are gonna add the hole later. So first I thought it's best to first make the normal tube sound with this new connection and with this new object as a read, and then add the hole later. So now we need our accesses. Make accesses. Okay, so for the read, we this time don't need 2 accesses. We only need 1, because with the 2 mass, what we had to do is that one of both had to be blocked. If you remember, that was the large mass that we blocked at position 0, and the small mass was getting to get or it was vibrating through the read connection. And the rectangular plate is fixed at its edges, and that's why we don't need to block anything there. We only need 1 axis to connect with the tube. So we only need the read tip, basically. So let's go here, back to the connections. They even tell us in the read here what approximately that should be. So I'm gonna set Q my read tip, make access on my read, and it's gonna be constant 0.1, 0.2, and on the rectangular plate the type of the axis is normal. That's how you call it. So XY, right? 0.1, 0.2. There we go. And now we need 2 axes on the tube. So one where we blow in, like yesterday, set Q my tube blow in, make axis my tube, and that's gonna be on 0. And you can also, I found out, write long. That also works, but I'm gonna stay consistent through here on out, or try to, so I will still write length, and set Q my tube listener for our output later, which will make the axis on my tube. Let's do like yesterday, 0.8, length. There we go. We have our axes. I just evaluated, no bugs, no complaints. All is good. Okay, so now let's make the connections. Make connection and the envelope, because that and envelope breadth and breadth envelope. Maybe better worded, breadth envelope. Okay, so we are first going to make the envelope, because that is then used in the read connection. So if you remember, that's by now we know it pretty well, but this time we are going to give it a name because we need it later. Breadth envelope. Breadth env is make controller envelope 1. So at 0 we are gonna be at 0 pressure or Pascal, and then at 0.5, let's say, we're gonna be at 500. Let's start here, and at 2.5 we are gonna be at 1500 maybe, and at 3 we are going to be back to 0 pressure. There we go. And now to our beloved read connection. So here we go. Make connection read. And as we remember from yesterday, these two are mixed up. So we first need the my tube blown, or rather not from yesterday, but that's when I made the tutorial. But from tutorial number 3. My tube blown in, the axes are the other way around than described here. And my reed tip. The distance is 0.001. And now comes the breadth envelope. And yesterday we had this constant of the reed aperture length or reed area. I still don't know what is what here. I have the feeling I can't trust it. In OpenMusic, it looked like the area, but it was still that number, E minus 4. Okay, but now let's synthesize and output. So make point output the my tube listener, and we are going to run this for 4 seconds and then play back and evaluate. Oh, there is an error. While creating a read connection could not course arguments. My tube blown in. Okay, here a typo, blow in. Okay, that's very disappointing. It's this. So we could try bigger pressure. Still same thing. And now comes the truly confusing part. And I think I might save some of you some time to try this at home. I looked into one of the Lisp examples of Modalys itself where they do that with a rectangular plate. It's example 3b. And suddenly they write exactly this order. So they write air density is 1.2. They, for some reason here, have an read area of 0.0012, I think. And they have an aperture length of 0.01. So not the suggested 2.76 E minus 4. So let's try that. Illegal car, 0.01. Really, which car? Oh, there. That's called a car? Okay. I call a car something else. And suddenly it sounds. I'm confused. I'm staying confused with this read connection. But at least it sounds now, right? Okay, and it seems to need a little bit more pressure if I go to 500. Ha! Back to plop, plop. Plop, plop. Okay. 1500. That I find strange. If there is a plop at the beginning and then the tone comes and then it goes away and there is a plop at the end. I don't know why. Maybe the pressure has to trigger it. It's probably something in the programming of the physical modeling itself that triggers a behavior like that. But I'm not a physician nor a mathematician, so no idea what that could be about. All I know is that we have a sounding tube now. So now that it's sounding, let's build a hole. So it's not quite like in the real world where we make a hole and then put a finger on it. Rather, we make another small tube and we move it up and down into that column of air because it's not a material. If you remember, our tubes are not materials but columns of air. So we interfere with it in that we move a column of air into it. Another one. So for that we need a hole. So I'm gonna make the hole here. So make hole. And what they suggest as a hole, we can see actually in the reference of the closed open tube. Down here, use as a tone hole. So it's much smaller. So we're gonna just do that. So set q, my hole is a make object. It's also a closed open tube. It only has 4 modes. It has a length of 2e minus 3. It has a radius 0 of 5e3. e minus 3, sorry. And a radius 1 of also 5e minus 3. So very small. That's 0.005 meters, which would be 3 millimeters. Yeah, and a frequency loss of 10. There we go. That's our hole. Okay, now we need an axis of this hole, because we are going to attach that, or we are going to move it into the tube, right? So we need actually 2 more axes, and I'm going to make them maybe here. Axes for hole. So set q. We need the axis on this, so set q my hole, maybe base. That's what I'm gonna use. So my whole base. I hope that name makes sense. I hope you know what I mean. It's just I need to have an axis on this hole to move that tube. So we are gonna make that axis, make axis on my hole of constant 0. So at the very beginning of it, and its length. There. Then we need the axis on the tube where we want to place the hole. So let's place it square in the middle, right? So set q hole position on tube, which is going to be make axis my tube, and 0.5. So in the very middle, length. There. Oh, I need to close this bracket as well. So now we have these 2 axes, and now we have to combine them. So we have to attach the hole to the tube, right? And that's what we're gonna do with an object called adhere. Oh. We are gonna make a connection and connect these 2. So we make a connection, adhere. I think I'm gonna turn that around. So that this is like that. So because it makes more sense to me to first adhere. So adhere the whole position on tube to my whole base. And here will be the weight. We will need a controller to actually close and open the hole. So I'm gonna write open close hole envelope. That's gonna be my controller name, and I'm gonna make it here. So set q open close hole envelope. That's gonna be a make controller, also an envelope 1. And now I'm gonna say, okay, at 0, it's at 0. And then it on 0. On 1, it's at 1. And at 2 seconds, it's at 0 again. And let's see what happens. Okay, so that's disappointing again. It seems to somehow do something which I don't want it to do. So what I tried then out is basically to make it open and close really fast. So 0.99, it's still at 0, and then it opens up. And if I add here 1.99, it's still at 1 and then closes. So let's see about that. Haha, okay, so it opens and closes now. If I kind of switch it fast up, or open it fast and close it fast, which is a bit strange. What I also find strange is that it seems that if I just put this on 1, it seems that the hole is connected, and if I put it on 0, it still seems connected. So it's a little mystery to me, but maybe, hopefully, somebody can enlighten me. I would find it interesting to know. And what I also was wondering about, if it's really necessary to closed open tube. Does it also work with an open tube? So let's try. Yeah, it has this strange rip at the end. Maybe I need to keep the pressure up. Yeah, it seems like it. And if I now put this on 1, I'm just gonna do a last test. And then you can also jump over. I mean, I made the bookmarks, right? So if I put it on, ugly. Still no difference. So that's a little bit my issue with this closed open tube, but it seems to work if you switch fast. And also the reconnection still stays a little bit of a mystery to me. Who knows what this is about? And write it down in the comments. But for now, I'm gonna save that. Blown hole with hole.lisp. Save. Okay. So here we are. Now let's play around a little bit with, now that it works, you know, let's play a little bit around. I'm wondering what happens if I do it the other way around, and this is higher. Okay. What happens if I change the tube position, so the hole position? Let's put it at 0.9. Okay, that's funny. Doesn't go back. Let's change. Okay. And let's start the tone a little bit. Ha! That doesn't do. Okay, so it needs a certain time. 2. Okay. Ah, okay. So the to get it working needs a little bit more. Let's make it higher. This time, 500. Oops, not 5,000. I'm sorry. That's more like the scream I want. 0.1. Yeah, that's a distress signal. I'm in distress. Okay, now let's move over and do the same in OpenMusic. New patch 0404 blown tube with hole. Okay. So now that we have done the hard work in Modalisp, we can just do it again here, but go around, or we already know what the issues were and what kind of parameters we had to adapt. So now we can just reap the fruit of success. Okay, we need to load the library first. There we go. And mlis. We have a rect plate. This rect plate has different parameters. So the constant loss is 200. The frequency loss is 400. The density, the Poisson Young, we don't touch. The density is 700. The thickness is 2e minus 5. The length is 2e minus 2. And the first length is, well, actually it's 7e minus 3. So there we go. So 7 to 7 for 200, and the modes are 5. There we go. Okay, now we can make our closed open tube, and also here take the parameters. So that's length. We're gonna put it at 500 distress signal hertz, and the modes numbers will be 100. The tube length, we're gonna let be that just to be sure is 0.00000 set to 1, and the air density is good. We're gonna change that to 0.015 as we did here to find the sound of hell. And the frequency loss I put on 0.1. It didn't change too much as far as I was concerned. Okay, now we can immediately make the whole as well. So mlis, let's take an open tube. It seems to not make a difference. So the modes are 4. The length, first length, this length overall is 3e minus 3, 2e minus 3, so 0.002, yeah. That I'm not going to touch. Radius 0 is 5e minus 3, and 5 e minus 3. So these are radius. Oh, air density. No, air density should be 1.2. Almost, right? Radius 0.005. Actually, it's just that. Yeah. And the frequency loss is a 10, and I'm not touching the constant loss. Okay. There we go. So now we want to make the axes. So we need Modalys axis. We need one here on the plate, which we are gonna combine with the tube. We need the tube axis, which is combined with the axis from the plate, but we also need a tube axis where we attach the hole, and we need a tube axis for the output. And for the second tube, we need an axis where we attach it to the hole. So I hope I will manage to make it with kind of a, oops, that was wrong, good overview. That, and this for the output, and here to attach. Okay, the first to put in the right things. So here we have 0.1 and 0.2 as an axis on the plate, and it's a normal axis. On the tube, the one that we are connecting through read with this is tube blown in, so it's a constant of 0, and it's long. The second thing is that we are gonna adhere this little hole and have this apart. So the adhere hole, so the hole position on tube at the moment is 0.9. So we can still hear it. And it's also long. And the tube hole base is at the moment, why did I change that? Oh, I was trying around. It doesn't make any difference. So here, even if I evaluate, still sounds as ugly as ever. So I'm gonna put it at 0, and this is also a tube, so it's also a long axis or length axis. Now we can make the read, and attach these two to each other. So we take the read axis here and the tube axis here. It's 0.001 distance. Now I'm not sure what to put in here. So here it says breadth, that's what we're going to control. But the read area, well, that seemed to be this. So I'm going to put in 0.01. That's it. Okay, let's see if it works later. Now we are going to glue the hole to the tube. So Modalys adhere. So it's a little glue tape. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so the tube, axis 1 to this, and the weight will need a controller. And we're going to have an out Modalys point output here. There we go. So we need two envelopes. Modalys envelope. One is going to be connected here, there. And I'm gonna make a breakpoint function here again. Once again. Let's make some space. Not that much, not that big. Okay. There and there. Oops. And we need the same thing around here as well. So the breadth. So let's put all of that in these lists, these little lists. So for the breadth, we start at 0, go to 0.1, go to 2.5, go to 3 and close the bracket. So it's this envelope for the breadth controller, right? The second one is, so the values are 0, then we climb up to 2500 and then to 3500, then back to 0 and close the bracket. And I'm gonna write in 2 here. Okay, that seems to work. Here we are gonna do the open close things. So we have a 0, then 0.99, then 1, then 1.99, then 2. Oh, I forgot to close the bracket. So again, 0.99, 1, 1.99, 2. There we go. And as values, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. Close the bracket. There we go. And we need 2. Okay, so closed, open, I guess. And now we can synthesize the whole thing. Modalys, synthesize. We need still the Modalys new and Modalys run. So we're synthesizing first the new there, and between these two we have the read connection, we have the adhere connection with its controller installed, and this, the output, and here, oh, I didn't write in the output, okay, I forgot that. So the output is at 0.8 and it's also long. Here we need the sound. Attach it, pray and hope and evaluate. Oh yeah, of course, the length of the run, 4 seconds. Okay, now. Huh. Huh, it switched, but then it broke off. Maybe if it's more precise. No. Maybe if I do it even faster. Yeah. If I open close even faster, then it seems to work, but there is something at the end. Oh, okay. It's a tricky one. It's really a tricky one, but we kind of made it work. We kind of made it work. Okay. So that's that. Okay, let's move over to Max. And this is gonna be another challenge. We are up for challenges today. Load bang and the B, the bang, and as always at the end we will have a script and we will have an Modalys mother object there. we will have the message of control list to just monitor what we can do. Oops. Print, and we are gonna have the live.gain as always, and the easy DAC. There we go. Okay, now let's build this. Okay, we have the rectangular plate, so mlist.rect plate at name my read. I will put in all the parameters later. So that's how we start. We need the read connection, mlist.read at name read con, so that the plate is connected to the closed open tube at name my tube. The thing is that we have another hole, so another tube, mlist open tube at name my hole, and this has to get attached to this tube, and it's to a connection as well. My read is a connection, so it connects. The thought behind it, I guess, is that it connects two objects to another. So mlist adhere does nothing different here, so I'm gonna call it glue. So it connects this to here. So we need actually two outputs and two inputs and one output. So this is connected here, and then goes to an mlist point output with the name out, not add glue, sorry, name glue there, and then all of this can go in here. This looks kind of okay to me. So let's put in all these little parameters that we have. So the rectangular plate has as an output position 0.1, 0.2. We don't care about the input position at the moment because we're not playing on it. The constant loss is 200. The density is 700. The frequency loss is 400. The length 0 is 0.007. 007 is here. Okay, 0.02 is the length 2, and the modes are only 5. The name we already have. The Poisson we don't care, but the thickness we care. That's 0.00005. No, 2. There. Okay, so that's for the read. For the read connection, if we look down here, we had to adapt some things. If you wonder why and just jumped over everything, just go back and see the drama that unfolded. I'm still not sure about this. What is what? It's all very confusing to me. I'm very happy if you can enlighten me. The read area, I'm just going to put in the air pressure, which was supposed to be this. So I'm just taking it over. And yeah, and the air pressure I'm going to control later from outside, max. Now let's go to our main tube. The main tube has an initial. So where we access it is that the read axis is at 0, but the whole axis where we adhere it is 0.9 at the moment, the whole position here. The initial out, so where we have our listener, is 0.8, the density is right, the elasticity is right, the constant loss, we didn't change anything, the frequency loss didn't make much difference, but we changed it to 0.1 just for a good measure. The length, we don't need. The modes, we changed to 100. Pitch, a length parameter. Radius, we turned it a bit around, so an inverted cone. And that's it. We have the Emless open tube, which has an out axis of 0, whole base, there, 0. The air density is same, but the modes are only 4. The length is very, very, very small, so it's 0.003. If you write this 2e minus 3, it doesn't work here. The frequency loss is at 10. The radiuses we need to confirm, so 0.005 and 0.005. So that's it, I guess. Yeah. Adhere doesn't need anything. It has the weight that we are going to control from outside. And that's basically it, I think. Let's see what it spits out. So here, yeah, everything is here. So now let's control it. What we need is, first of all, the air pressure. So read con at air pressure $1. And we will need the weight. So this should be the glue thing. Where is glue? Glue, weight. Okay. So glue at weight $1. Gonna put just a float here. And here I'm gonna put a slider again, going from 0 to, let's say, 4,000. Float output. Let's see what it does. Okay. The moment of truth has come. And it is silent. It is silent. Silent. And why is that? I guess I must have forgotten something. Yeah, I'm right. I forgot to give in the frequency. So 500. There we go. So let's see now. Wow. That's an interesting sound. Huh. So it reacts to the... And if I normalize 0.6. Last times it was always so loud. Oh, now it needs much less. Oops. That's strange. So let's put in something like 1,000. Okay, it's definitely not what I expected. It's very different from what we have here. There's something hidden in the in the different behaviors of read and this kind of system in Max in comparison to Lisp. And well, in OpenMusic it was a bit different, but not that much. But here I'm surprised. Interesting. Maybe one of you elect fellow nerds knows why. Knows what is the mystery behind the read. For now, I will let this connection go. In the next tutorials, we're gonna go to other nice features of Modalys. So until then, I hope you have a good time, enjoy a bit the sun as well, and see you on the next one.